Let's take a look at another line chart. In a previous lesson, we learned that a line chart is very useful when we want to show change over time. It's also possible to use a line chart when we want to compare two items measured in units other than time. So in this particular lesson, what we're going to do is look at corn production and then the price per bushel of corn. And so your final chart is going to look like something like this. I'll zoom in. So this is what we are going to create: bushel price and supply of corn. And then on the x-axis we'll have corn production in millions of bushels per day. And then we'll have on the y-axis price per bushel. And then we're going to create this upward sloping from left to right supply line, or supply chart, supply graph. So here we go. So step number one is to open Excel and enter this data into a worksheet. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to and enter this information right here. And once you have that done, come on back and we will continue to build our XY line graph. First up, highlight the price per bushel of corn, these values here. On the main menu, click Insert. Choose the line graph, just like we did in that previous lesson when we built the line graph. I believe it was the price of eggs. Choose the same one, and you will get a preview that looks like that. I'm going to enlarge that. Going to click this plus over here for the chart elements and add axis titles so that we have our X and our Y. Chart styles, once again you can look through those. I'm going to keep it the basic default style here. Chart filters, and I'm going to select data. And so we need to edit our horizontal axis because we want that to reveal not time for this graph, but the corn production as indicated here in bushels per day. So we'll grab all of those, and we want these values to show on the x-axis, and so there they are. And then we can give Series 1 a title. Let's see, I'll shorten this a little bit. Let's call this bushel price and supply of corn. Bushel price and supply of corn. We'll make that our title. And there it is, shows up as a chart title. And we can click OK. And then we can go ahead and go into our axis titles. Zoom in a little bit for you. Corn production, millions of bushels per day. Corn production, millions of bushels per day. So there is our title for our x-axis. And then on the y-axis, price per bushel. Bushel price and supply of corn, corn production, millions of bushels per day, price per bushel. And so once you've done that, you can go ahead and move that chart and make it its own page or its own sheet. And then you'll have some questions to answer. And so what you'll want to consider for this particular supply chart of corn is that you need to consider, first, notice that this line is moving upward left to right. And so you need to determine and explain why that line is moving upward. Is it because as corn production increases, the price increases? Or is it because as the price increases, the production of corn increases? So one of these variables is dependent and the other is independent. And so you need to determine, what do you think causes the production of corn to go up? Or what do you think causes the price of corn to go up? And so answer those questions that are down below, and then we'll talk about this in class. And this will be our first introduction into economics and supply.